Hey everybody, it's Gail, and today I wanted to show off this great blouse I made that really has all the makings of a great staple piece you can have in your wardrobe. So first of all, we are back in the 1970s. I know you're shocked. And this blouse actually comes to us from Twilly's, which is an English yarn brand. It is specifically noted as being a Barbara Warner design. So Barbara Warner was a crochet designer who was known for doing what was, I forget if they call it crochet couture or couture crochet, but the idea was that Barbara was very talented at taking crochet techniques and turning them into and making garments that looked very modern. And so for the 1970s, this is a very modern design. We've got, 3 acres of collar, very 70s. You've got a bit of a blouse and sleeve here. And otherwise, it is just, a pretty standard button up shirt, which is phenomenal. So, what you do for this, you work it on a D hook and an E hook. So, all of the body of this is just a simple V stitch, and you work it on the E hook for the left and right side, the back, and the sleeves. And then you join everything together, and then you take the D hook and you use that to make the cuffs, the collar, and the button plackets. So you're dropping down that one hook size to give it a slightly neater look and having things be a little tighter, which is great. You will notice my sleeves are undone, even though you do make them. If you make them by the pattern, you do 3 buttons on each sleeve. I did something a little different. I went in here and added, instead of 3 buttonholes, I did a series of skip stitches because I wanted to come in and be able to wear my cufflinks with this shirt. So when I have my cufflinks in, they'll stand out as cufflinks, and I can either wear them like this or I can double it over and have sort of a really classic French cuff. A French cuff is uh, folded over itself, and then the cufflink is worked through. But I don't have those in right now because that's an extra step, and I need a second pair of hands, and my second pair of hands is taking care of some other stuff. I did goof on this in one spot, and it's here on the arm seam. So you will see that this seams all the way up, and then I worked the cuff, and you don't want to do that. Leave the sleeves open until the cuff is finished, because part of working the cuff is coming in on the seam line and adding a little more edging so that it looks and it drapes more like a traditional shirt. I don't find it to be a big deal. You're gonna have sort of piratey sleeves anyway because that was the fashion. So not a big deal if you don't do it, but I was trying to work directly to pattern except for the cufflinks, and I fucked up. The last thing to note in terms of structure is that on the cuffs and on the collar, you are going to need to starch this collar. You can actually see it needs another starching. I've worn this shirt 2 or 3 times since I got it finished, and you can tell it needs another starching. I grabbed the starch. Well, I went to Joann's to look for starch, couldn't find starch, left Joann's, ordered starch online on Amazon, and then actually ended up ordering the starch that I had seen at Joann's that I didn't realize was starch. This is what happens when all your clothes are wrinkle free. Oh well, we learned. So that is my big note on that, is you're definitely going to want to starch. It's all very easy. Just follow the instructions on the bottle. You can do it. This is made in size 5 crochet thread, so it's 100% cotton. Just use the cotton setting on the iron. And this thread, if you're curious where you get size 5 thread, because it can be a little difficult to source, DMC, which is the company you might best know for embroidery floss, has size 5 thread. So you can order it from them. I will link to their size 5 page so you can see all the colors. There's some other companies that still put it out as well. You just got to dig around a little bit. As with a lot of thread projects, it's a matter of tracking down who has what you need. If you don't need a size 10, a size 30, or a size 3. But size 5 is still somewhat common to find because it was used so much. This stood in for, I believe it was Twilly's Liz Cordette. But also, if you find anything that say J&P Knit Crocheting, that's a size 5 thread. So that's just a good cheat on terminology there. What else? That might be everything. I told you what I made it of. I told you which hooks I used. There is one error. It is one of the rows on the sleeves. There is a very small decrease you do on row 5 of the part of the sleeve, and then you repeat it on row 6. The row 5 information is misprinted. But I caught that. I've updated it on the Vintage Errata page on my website, and it's there if you need it. Also, it is Twilly's being an English company. We're dealing with British terms. So it says treble crochets, and it means double crochets in American terms. And of course, as always, because I thought of one thing, I remembered the other. The other is the buttons. These are gorgeous vintage buttons that I got off Etsy. These are 7/16 inch buttons, and that's very important because the pattern goes with one of my favorite classics, which is small buttons. The fuck does that mean, Twillies? These are 7/16 an inch. I base that on the fact that the buttonholes are half an inch. These slip in and out pretty easily by accident. So if you're going to make this, if you're going to if you're going to put buttons on, definitely get, the exact half inch. They're going to hold better. Like, I think part of why they're not falling open now, and they were falling open more often when I was wearing it the first couple of times, is because things are relaxing a little more now. Now that it's been worn, everything's sort of adjusting comfortably. And so the buttons are staying in place a little better. But in terms of like, if you don't want a flash tit, definitely use the half-inch buttons. Okay, yeah, now that's really everything. I'm almost totally sure. As always, if you enjoy what I do here, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. I update about every 10 days. And before I tell you that I will see you in 10 days, just a reminder again about the vintage pattern errata on my website, linked in the basement. I will have a link to this pattern. If I have a copy, I can easily link you to. If I don't have a copy and you want it, just hit me up. I will get it to you. I'm happy to email it to you. And now I will see you in 10 days.